What is up, guys? Welcome to the show. I am your traditional extremist, and I call myself that because I've been labeled extremist for having traditional values such as marriage between a man and woman, not sterilizing your children, not giving them surgeries because they think they're a dinosaur or some dumb shit, stuff like that. So that's why I call myself the traditional extremist. Believe in, traditional masculinity, things of that nature. You get it. Lefties don't like me. So today we're going to be talking a lot about what's going on with the presidential election, with the Trump indictments and all that good stuff, and just things that are happening and predictions and civil war and all this good stuff. So before we jump into that, please hit that like button, share the video, subscribe really helps me out. YouTube's not going to do any favors for me, so I'm completely dependent on just my viewers such as yourself. But all right. So in case you haven't heard, should be very surprised if you didn't, Trump is being indicted with at least 18 co-defendants. Seems like they're adding more all the time, or more indictments are coming, so who knows. But this is the first time in our history of the United States that a presidential candidate, a former president, by the way, and the highest chance possible presidential candidate, the one that's polling the highest, is being targeted with just indictments and criminal charges. And it's just amazing because this is the first time this has ever happened in history. And you talk about civil war, you talk about the conflict that could possibly happen inside the United States. I mean, in these past 4 years, we've seen, we've seen riots, we've seen cities burn, we've seen the Capitol was overrun, right? But I still get people all the time go, this will never happen. There'll never be another civil war. There'll never be another civil war. So there's already been one, right? There's already been a revolution of the United States where we left Britain. There's already been a civil war where we fought against each other. And how many countries are actively in civil war or conflict? What system of government has ever lasted the test of time? There's never been one. They've all broken down at some point or other. And so it's amazing to me that people say it can never happen. And I feel like it's been, you could say that for that, like it'll never happen that the entire United States will lock down cities and tell people to wear masks. Go back 10 years ago and give some scenarios of the COVID lockdowns. Tell them that, oh yeah, here in 10 years to maintain work, they're gonna force you to get a jab that hasn't been properly tested yet, that's pretty new, that has never been done before. And I know that'll never happen. People will be locked in their homes. They can't go to church. They can't be parked in a parking lot to go to a church to have a group meeting. They'll be having drag queen story hour for children, and they'll be dancing around with them provocatively, stripping clothes, taking tips from them just as a stripper would. You'd probably say, no, that's not going to happen. All these things keep happening that people say, oh, it never happened. So it's just, when people tell me a civil war can't happen, I'm like, you don't know human psychology then. Because for all of time, human beings have been pretty violent. And when you press down on human beings, they get violent, and then they fight back, and things have happened. And I don't think there's a single country in this that is right now, of all the countries we have in the world, that hasn't been through a civil war, that hasn't had conflict, that hasn't had people get, and I mean, all these countries are still fairly new in the grand scheme of the world. So if someone that tells me civil war can't happen, I find it mind-boggling. But so yeah, we've never seen this before with a presidential candidate being charged. And then it goes even beyond that, because they're going after Trump. Now they're going after his lawyers and his political consultants, and it's people around him. But lawyers, think about that. Think about the fact that you have an issue or something's going on, and you go to a lawyer to seek legal advice, and they go, hey, here's the best way that we can, here's the most legal way that we can do it. Here's how we do it legally. Here's how we fight legally. We're going to take the battle over here. We're going to seek audits. We're going to seek, double checks over here. We're going to go do this. And the government comes, all right, now those lawyers are also going to be indicted and criminally charged. So first of all, that sends a message to all lawyers. It's an attempt to try to make everyone afraid to even be a part of anything with Trump. Because if you defend him, imagine that, like the judicial system that we set up in this country, where you are supposed to be defended by someone legally, someone with the brains that's been studying this stuff and knows what they're doing to to work on your behalf, to defend you. They're now telling you, nope, you don't get that right, because anyone that's going to defend you, we're going to jail too. And you're going to go after people that are trying to do their jobs as lawyers, as legal consultants. You're now going to jail them. So what's next whenever you jail them? Are you going to start going? Is the government going to start arresting people that have ever defended Trump? High profile people that, have millions of followers, YouTubers, celebrities, things like that have defended Trump, that have, basically just stood with him. Are you going to start prosecuting them? Are they going to get indicted for spreading the conspiracy that there was election fraud, which everyone says there's no election fraud? There's hundreds of cases of double counted ballots, like in the thousands, or hundreds of ballots miscounted here, or all these things. Now, what you believe on if the election was actually fraudulent or not, I believe that there was cases of election fraud. Was there enough to overturn an election? I don't know. I don't necessarily think so. I think the biggest thing that why Trump lost the election is because of the amount of changes that came from both Republicans and Democrats in the states on how the votes could be counted, on how long the votes could be counted after the election day, and the fact that anyone could do a mail-in ballot. I think that's the problem. I think it's also part of the problem that we don't have the code to see what's happening in our election systems. That no one has any true idea what's going on in any of the voting machine, Dominion voting systems, because we don't have the code. We don't know. I think that's crazy that we allow our voting machines to be run by a private organization, and that we have no idea what's really happening and how they function, how they work. I think that's not smart. But so anyway, back at it. If you question an election, which is what Trump was doing, was seeking the truth, and by the way, in Fulton County and in Georgia where all this is happening, there was over 200 ballots that were double counted in what they found, and so we're going to send some guys to go audit, and they even got a written approval from the election officials inside Fulton County going, yes, come on, we'll check it out. And they're saying, well, because they did that, that was a breach, and that was, that was felonious, and so now we're going to come after him for seeking the truth. So, huge issue. Huge, massive. Like I said, this is civil war, that you have the primary guy that everyone wants to be president on one side, and then the other side goes, nope, he questioned the election, and he did some things that we say is illegal, even though by every prospect out there, it was absolutely legal. That he was seeking to find the fraud, and they were conducting audits, and now because he did that, we're going to arrest him. We're going to arrest him, and we're going to get his mugshot, and we're going to say that he can't run for the presidency. So what does that say to half the country, that the guy that you're trying to elect it's just wiped off the map because of that? I don't think people are going to take that very well. I think you're pushing people. You're pushing people. These few years of Biden has made things worse. Things are tougher. You got inflation. It's more expensive. Housing unaffordability. World War III right on the horizon. You got a lot of pressure coming down on people. And I think the reason that we've allowed a lot of things to happen inside the United States is because we're extremely comfortable. We got good jobs. We got good houses. We're not ever hungry. We got food in our bellies. And so for the most part, people have a lot to lose, and they don't want to get involved. But I think the more and more you do this, you're pushing people. You're taking things away from them. You're taxing them more. Eventually, people will have a breaking point, and they are going to start fighting back. So I don't know. If you tell half the country that their guy is not going to be able to run for president, I think you're going to have some serious issues. And along with this, it's kind of the idea is like every other Republican candidate, if they drop out and they say, you know what, Trump's the nominee, Trump's the guy, and then you have the entire Democrat Party willing to take that power and say, yep, we're still removing Trump. You can't vote for a Republican. There is only Democrats on this ballot. That's the only people you can vote for. It will just show even more how much power they're willing to wield to get what they want. Because as we've seen, Democrats are absolutely okay with wielding power and telling you you can't do anything. We're going to put this tax on you for a climate crisis. You can't have this. You can't have guns because you don't need protection. We'll be protecting you. Everyone needs healthcare, so we're going to tax you to give that to everyone. And guess what? It's going to be lower quality, and it's going to be shite. And if you don't believe me, ask any military member how good the socialized healthcare is inside the military. But Democrats are taking power, and Republicans aren't doing anything. Democrats are going after and trying to criminally charge their opponents. Republicans aren't doing anything. Republicans, for the most part, save a few, are useless, right? And so you have people that I think are waking up and seeing this. But if they do that, if actually all the other candidates drop out, and then they have the Democrats say, yep, you only got one choice, and that's a Democrat. That's us. You can't vote for anyone else. I think that's going to show even more to everyone going like, wow, like they're absolutely just have taken power at this point in time, and there is no system. There is no voting system. You don't get to vote anymore because it's what the Democrats want. It's what they want. They have all the power at that point, and I think Second Amendment people, gun people, libertarian mind people, free thinkers are going to wake up and go, nope, we ain't accepting that. That is not going to be allowed. Also, and with the whole indictment, something else that just shows that it's all just political, that there's no merit behind these charges, is the fact that in his indictment, the charges were released while the grand jury was still meeting. They came out. The charges came out. They published them. They put them out there. They posted them, which they removed immediately, by the way. I don't know exactly how quick it was, but they removed them. But it had a case number already assigned to it. It had a judge assigned to it. This has already been pre-planned. This isn't about justice. This isn't about, seeking the truth and finding, the real crime that Trump's involved. No, they've had this planned out. This is not due process. They've had it planned out, and then they've had it ready to go from the beginning. And they keep making little slip-ups like this where they release it while the grand jury's still deliberating, right? So it's all just a sham. The charges are even a sham. Saying that his seeking legal advice and that his lawyer's going into an audit with written permission from election officials, that's breaking the law. That you can't question election. You can't question, what does that say? What does it say for your freedom of speech? If you didn't think that your freedom of speech has already been ripped to shreds, if you didn't think your Second Amendment has already been ripped to shreds in all the places where you can't carry a gun, or you can't have a certain type of gun, or you can get fined for having, or jailed for having a gun, or a certain type of gun, or a certain amount of size magazine, your constitutional rights have already been shredded, and we've taken it because, like I said, we've been comfortable. But yeah, they are cracking down on it. You can't question the election anymore. That's essentially what this is saying. But yeah, so I don't know. Civil war. What do you think? Will that happen? I think it's very possible. I think people are getting pushed to the edge. How it's going to happen is the question. Are certain states going to break off? Certain states going to go, nope, we're out. This is obviously the United States. Is what the system, what it was, is not what we're a part of. And there's not fair elections. We're not going to be involved in this. We're going to secede. We're going to do our own thing. Is it going to be just groups of people? I don't know. Doing things in certain cities, maybe going after political opponents themselves. I don't know. There's a million different possibilities when it comes to this idea of civil war and revolution. But I just think something is coming. With the way that this is pushing, something is coming. But yeah, so you got and then we'll start going into who's running. Who's running for Democrats? But you got Biden that is stumbling around, can't talk, can't hardly speak, gets lost, is crapping his pants. He's useless. He's just a puppet. Who is going to be the candidate after him? Who are the young people rising up in the Democrat Party that are really being good? That would possibly be a leader. Like Gavin Newsom, that people talk about him, that insane psychopath from California, that he's absolutely decimated his state that he's taken, like, they had like some insane surplus, millions, or I don't know, it's billion, a lot of money surplus every year, and is now gone insane deficit. You got homeless going rampant. You got lockdown, or you got laws, taxes, fees for everything. Like, California is turning into a crap hole for the first time ever, or at least like in the past 100 years. You've seen a population decline in California because everyone's trying to get out of there. But who do the Democrats have? They don't have anyone. Meanwhile, on the right side, you got DeSantis, which he has just plummeted. DeSantis has been the biggest just kind of disappointment as far as his campaign, and he is just, he's just, I don't know, he wants to rag on Trump every he kind of takes these low blows at Trump. When it came to the Stormy Daniels, he made a Stormy Daniels comment about not knowing, paying off hookers and things like that. I don't know. It just seems like he could have done better if he actually would have aligned himself with Trump more. But he's just not near as charismatic. He's been in Iowa these past few days. I can't remember what he was doing, some work walking around a fairground, but it just seemed awkward. It didn't seem like he's really in with people. Where Trump walks in and he commands the respect of everyone around him, the audience. They immediately turn him. You can't, whether you like him or not, you can't deny it. There's something about Trump that he draws all of the oxygen in the room, and everyone focuses on him. And so, here I have the predicted market where, this is what people are putting money into. They're betting and who they think is going to win. And DeSantis has absolutely plummeted off of this, as well as just in the polls. And Trump has remained up there high. But Vivek Ramaswamy, he is someone that has just risen through the ranks. That guy is awesome. I've listened to him speak several times on Timcast, or Tim Pool's show. I've seen him talk on other interviews and just listen to the policy ideas he has. He wants to get in there and destroy the Department of Education, wipe it out. He wants to make the federal government smaller, which is one of my primary, that's what I want to hear from a politician. I want someone to go in there and say, we're going to make smaller government. We are going to clean house in this, which allegedly that's what Trump's going to do. He's going to go get revenge on everyone that backstabbed him, going to go take out the deep state, drain the swamp. I know he didn't do the best job of that the first time around, but I do like a lot of the other policies that Trump had. But the idea of him going inside the federal government and scheduling F on a lot of the executive branch, I love that idea. Vivek Ramaswamy, though, he talks about it seems like he has a plan. He knows what he's doing, or at least has a good, he's insanely smart. He's an entrepreneur, young man, and that's something else, is all of our politicians' average age is 75 to 80. Why don't we get some of these crusty old people out of here? How about we get some new young blood in there that's actually energetic, that's capable, that's competent, and isn't on the deathbed, right? Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, what is his name? Not McCarthy. Mitch McConnell. Them. Biden. Even Trump's old. At least Trump's more with it than Biden. Trump's running around dancing, cracking jokes, doing stuff. Biden's just gone. So yeah, Vivek is someone I'm very excited for. Now, it's kind of the idea that, will he win this election? Could he win if he won the primary and became the Republican candidate? Could he win? I don't know. I don't think so. It's he's kind of just too new. He's too new. He's gaining a lot of steam, but it's still I don't think he's there yet. I think a Trump Vivek presidency would be amazing. Or Vivek getting in there with Trump and getting some cabinet position and doing something for these next 4 years would set Vivek up for the next candidacy. But I've been listening to him. If you haven't, look up some of his interviews. He's gone on a lot of, and he's real. He sits down with people and he has a conversation. He sits there and has a conversation. He's intelligent. He's witty. He has charisma. He has good answers. There's so much good about Vivek Ramaswamy. But yeah, DeSantis has just plummeted, and he's just not there. So I'm really hoping for Trump, Vivek maybe being the VP, at least, like I said, being part of his cabinet. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on with their or what's going on with the future and what they hold. But I think Ron's lost it. I don't think he's got the wherewithal. I don't know. He just hasn't proven himself lately. Also, his campaign's just horrible. His campaign, they're attacking people. They're attacking anyone that's just not automatically on the DeSantis campaign or the DeSantis train. And I don't know. They've done bad. They haven't done good. However, some of the latest news I just got is Trump reportedly will skip Fox News debate. Moderators say they're ready. So the first Republican primary debate is going to be aired by Fox, I believe. And we all know Fox has turned into just established shills. They're just another mainstream corporate media. They suck. Fox sucks. They got rid of Tucker Carlson, who was their guy. Like, he was the guy pulling in most of the ratings, like the most watched guy in news and politics. And they got rid of him because, guess what? Tucker Carlson actually just likes to kind of talk about the truth and talk about everything. And sometimes they don't agree with that. Sometimes it affects the pocketbook, or at least in their mindset. So allegedly what's going to happen is Trump has declined that first primary debate, and he's going to go do an interview with Carlson starting at the exact same time of the debates. So let me tell you how people are not going to want to watch the debates. Because other than Vivek, I don't really care about anyone. I don't know any of those other guys, and they're really... you want to go watch Mike Pence? Is that who you want to go watch? Mike Pence? I mean, there's a guy named Tom Scott, but I don't know anything about him. He's small time. Vivek is the only thing that would draw me to the GOP debates. But then you're going to have Trump. Trump, like I said, he's the one that attracts the crowd. He's the one people want to go and listen to because he's going to say something funny. He's going to go say something outlandish. He's going to go say something that isn't just scripted. Maybe that's to a fault because he says some things. Sometimes you're just going, what, did he say that? But it's funny too. And people want that. People are so sick of just the boring old same crap that's written off a script and that's just lied to you. Like Trump, part of Trump's problem was he was just straight up telling you, we're gonna go do this. We're gonna sell weapons to Saudi Arabia. And we're gonna get the best deal. And then people are like, wait, you're not supposed to say that as a politician. You're not supposed to be honest about those things. You're supposed to try to scoot those under the table. Trump just came out and said it and surprised people. And so people want to listen to Trump. Trump's the charismatic one. And he's going to go on with Tucker Carlson, one of the most liked guys as far as being a person in the news and in the media that's now independent and now can do whatever he wants, and doing things like this where he's pulling the Trump, and they're going to go on the exact same time with the primary debates happening from Fox. They're going to steal all the viewers. They're going to steal so many viewers, and I think that's hilarious, and I think it's funny, and I'm going to go watch Carlson, and him. I'll probably go back and watch some highlights of Vivek and maybe see what the other guys, but I'm saying, you want to go watch Pence? That's who you want to go listen to? No. Pence is... Why is he even running? Why? No one's going to vote for that guy. No one. But yeah, so we got exciting times ahead of us. Possibility of never before seen things where we could just nix the primary candidate for the GOP, for the Republican Party. That's never happened. We're going to see people's reaction to that. I don't think it's going to... I think people are just getting tired of sitting back and taking things from our betters, from our elite people there in Washington. Just as Oliver Anthony, the guy that just came out with the song "The Richmond North of Richmond," fantastic song. Go watch it, listen to it if you haven't already. Go buy it if you have iTunes. Just spend $1, man, because that song, the culture is turning against all the establishment. That song is amazing just because it's from a common man about singing against the people that are north of Richmond, that are taxing you. They're just coming up with all this dumb stuff to push down people. I think the culture is turning more of a libertarian mindset, more of leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Let me do my life. Let me stop taxing me to death. Stop being involved in my life. Stop trying to take my guns away. Stop trying to, just crack down on my speech and banning me and censoring me and doing all this. Just leave me alone. That is the sentiment that is growing within America. And I don't think that the people are going to sit here and take it much longer. So if they do use these draconian measures where they arrest Trump, they arrest his lawyers, they arrest everyone, they start going after everyone that's involved with them, we're going to see rough times ahead. I mean, and you got to water the tree of liberty with blood. I mean, that's just true. It happens. We forget what we have, and people are always going to try to be corrupt and take power. It's how it is. Our forefathers tried setting up a system to counter that and hold it off, but as always, corruption and that ilk finds a way to seep through and take control of things. And so it's going to be up to us as the people to maintain our liberty, to maintain the freedom. Freedom of a group of people or a country, whatever you want to say, the freedom has only ever been won or lost on the battlefield. Somebody's freedom was never lost nor gained in talking. That's just the truth. And so when people are being tyrants and when they're trying to force power over you, there's only one way out of that. You can't negotiate your way out of tyranny. I'm sorry, or comply your way out of tyranny. That was the saying during COVID. You can't do it. So it's going to be exciting times in the future. I'm hopeful. Like I said, I think the culture is swinging the way of a more conservative leaning, or it's kind of swinging back to the right. I think we need to be pushing culture, pushing the movies. Sound of Freedom, way up there, doing better than a bunch of other movies that were aired internationally. Disney's losing money. There is a lot to be excited about as far as us winning the culture battle, because it's happening. Woke companies are losing money. Bud Light is selling, or Anheuser-Busch is literally selling off entire beer brands to make up for the losses that they have. So we're winning. We're absolutely winning. But the fight is long from over. And it's going to require everyone to start getting more involved. Stop giving money to people who hate you. Get involved in your local government. Get involved. Start taking over school board member spots. Get involved in, run for mayor. Run for just political office in your local areas. Start getting involved. Get involved in the schools. Make sure your kids aren't being indoctrinated, or homeschool them. That's getting easier and easier. Get married. Have relationships. Have kids. For God's sake, have kids and raise them to be good people. We're winning. Like I said, I'm hopeful. It's the fight is far from over. I think the worst of it is still yet to come, but God is with us. I'm not worried about it. Keep fighting. Keep your head up, and we're gonna win it. All right, guys. If y'all enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, and until next time, y'all have a great day.